Hello, third grade. Now that you have finished your test on chapter 13, then we can go on to the next writing unit. And the next writing unit you have already had the books, one of the sources for, is your research project on a historical figure. Now, first thing I needed you to do was read the excerpt from your biography about David Livingstone that was taken from your reading book. And then in it you'll notice that the topic of the whole biography is David Livingstone. And the main parts of the biography is it talks about his youth in one paragraph, it talks about his work and marriage in another paragraph, and talks about his death in another paragraph. So it kind of follows his life as it happened. So from that, we remember about David Livingstone that he was a missionary working in Africa, and he did a lot of the exploration of parts of Africa that have never been explored before that time. If you had to talk to that author about writing that biography, you would have found out that she had to do research, and that is what you guys are going to do, is some research. Now, biography is, bio means life, graphy means writing, so it's writing about someone's life. Now, if you look on page 249, as we read the little part that Sierra wrote about Betsy Ross, we can see that in the first paragraph, she wrote about when Betsy Ross was a child. In the second paragraph, we learn about when Betsy Ross was an adult. And then in the last two paragraphs, why she is famous. In the third paragraph, that would be what she did that made her famous. And in the fourth paragraph would be why that thing she did became famous. What she did was she sewed the American flag. And then what made her famous was that the government adopted that flag to represent our nation. So that would be the last two paragraphs. In each paragraph, first sentence is your main idea, and everything in that, all the sentences in there support that main idea. So where it says, Elizabeth Griscom was born in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania in 1752, and then everything about that all those sentences after that are about how what happened as a child after she was born. And then you go on to the next paragraph. In 1773, Betsy married John Ross, and then that whole paragraph is about her life with John Ross and what happened because of that. So so when you write your biographies, you're going to be writing your main idea, and then everything else in that one paragraph is going to support that main idea. Since you guys are doing your biographies other than in my classroom, I had to go ahead and pick what you are researching about instead of letting you pick. So on page 250, you really don't even have to do that page, so don't worry about it. If we're going to go on, this would be a following day. You would work on page 251. And on page 251, what you need to make sure is in your resources, I provided your resources so that you know that they are both good resources, but you need to make sure anytime that you're doing research that you make that you know the difference between fiction and nonfiction. This book here, it looks like it's nonfiction, but see that little beaker right there with the eyeballs on it? That is a character in the story, so that means it's nonfiction, because Madame Curie really didn't have a beaker that talked. Now this one would be a good source for a research report. It even says biography on it. So you know that these are facts. And when you are doing your writing, you are using just facts. You're not using opinion, and you're not making anything up. on page 251, if you read that information box right there, it will tell you at the bottom, you need your information about the person's childhood, you need information about the person as an adult, and what third and fourth paragraphs about what they are known for, and I already talked about that. On this page, page 252, that is an encyclopedia article about Daniel Boone, and some of you have encyclopedia articles that I copied off for you. But if you had a card like this that said childhood at the top, as a child, if you read through there, the kids that were here and I went ahead and underlined the things that talk about him, about Daniel Boone's childhood. So those are the things that we wrote down on this card here. So that's how you were going to be taking notes first from your biography source, your book, and then from your encyclopedia page. So you can do one side of the card actually, you guys don't have to worry about cards. This is what you guys are doing. You guys are doing the cards right in your workbook. So you would be able to take notes about your subject as a child and then take notes as an adult. And then next week we would be working on the cards about why we remember them and what they did. There was one more thing I wanted to remember. Let's see, which one was it? Oh, when you are taking notes, please remember there's this little box right here. It says, write just facts. Remember, write only enough words to remember the information, and don't copy the sentences. So right here it says that Daniel Boone was born on November 2nd, 1734 in a log cabin in Berks County, Pennsylvania. You don't want to write that whole thing. All that was written on the card here is born November 2nd, 1734. Up here where it says Boone was one of 11 children, down here it says 11 children in a family. So that then you can take the information and put them in your own words when you do the writing. Here it says, he learned to hunt as a small boy to help provide meat for his family. And then on the card you could write, hunted to help family. And where it says he did not have the opportunity to go to school, he did, however, learn to read and write, although his spelling was poor. Don't write that whole thing. They broke that up into 2 points there. One was, did not go to school. The other one was, could read and write. And that is the information that you would use from your encyclopedia source when you are writing your report. If you have any questions or anything, contact me on Dojo. I'd be happy to help. And have a good weekend. Love you guys. Bye-bye.